Welcome to Navarero's online video. Today we are back on the beta branch once more in my testing world, and this is because we've just gotten another update to the beta branch. Been 5 days since the original version of the March update came out, and honestly it's been a pretty much unplayable mess. I tried it out for a bit, but in the end yeah, it just would constantly crash. It didn't really work out, and I decided to just play something else instead. And to be clear, despite me being pretty critical of the team recently for the way they have been behaving, and I still don't think that's really any professional way of dealing with your community and such. Overall, I would still really like to play the game right now. But there are just so many issues with the game itself that I don't really enjoy it anymore as it is. And that's mainly coming down to a lot of broken things that I constantly have to work around, and it feels more like a chore to do that than me just really being able to do my thing and get the other industries back up and running. And to be clear about this, I want to give you guys my list of 4 items that I want the game to fix. It would definitely have a positive impact on my enjoyment. And without that being the case, I don't really see myself playing it anytime soon. Number 1, and this is something that is already fixed on the beta branch, the coal towers. I have them in different places on my playthrough world, and just the track behind them being broken just messes with so many things that I don't want to deal with, and it never felt like we needed to wait for over a month in order for that to finally be rectified. But right now, that's kind of still broken on the main branch, fixed on the beta, so that's definitely a positive thing. I would have much preferred if they just brought it out as another hot fix on the main branch, but that's just my opinion. Secondly, the industries. I noticed a while ago that industry outputs were broken and were just wasting a lot of resources. I originally made the bug report sometime in February, and we finally are seeing a few things change with that on the main branch. I mean on the beta branch. Main branch is still broken, and even in the beta I would call the situation far from ideal. I'll get more into detail about that in a moment. Third thing is performance, because that's really something that's quite important for my main playthrough with over 250 cars deployed around the map and all of that. It's just not running very well. And I used to have like 40 FPS at most, which was alright. I wouldn't complain about that by any means. But recently it's been more like 10 or something. And that seems to be because even with fully pulled brakes, the cars are not fully stationary. They still move around, and calculating that movement takes a lot of resources, and therefore the entire game is running like crap, to be honest. Now there seems to be a bit of an improvement. It's not constantly around 10 FPS anymore. It sometimes jumps back up to 40, then back down, up and down and all of that, and while it's still far from ideal, it's a situation that I would at least want to try out. See if it works for me. If it doesn't, I can still stop playing, but I would at least want to give it a try. So that's a bit iffy, but maybe good enough for me. The last point, and that's been a main problem with the beta branch for the last 5 days: do not break anything else significant. Safe to say that the last patch was very broken. This one, however, seems to be far more stable at first glance, but then again, I don't see myself sitting down playing this to an extensive amount, and that is partially down to the whole industry issue. So let me get you guys up to date with this, and I think I just need to start by reiterating the stuff that I talked about in the last video, but I want to make it a bit more concise and clearer. So, instead of going with version 1, 2, and 3, I'll be calling them the early version, the good version, and the broken version. when the game initially came out, it had the early version of how industries were treating inputs and outputs, meaning that as soon as one side of a multi-output industry, like the sawmill, was full, the other side wouldn't produce anything more either, because it is meant to produce stuff at a certain rate, and with one of the outputs being full, it just doesn't work anymore. So that was the early version. We then at some point transitioned to the good one. And this means that with the sawmill, for example, again, if one of the outputs was full, maybe the beams were all fully loaded up, and the other one still had some capacity, the one that's still empty is gonna get a product at twice the rate. So for your amount that you are putting in, the logs that you supply the sawmill with, you are still getting the same overall amount out of, but maybe a different type of product for the time being, but it doesn't outright waste anything. And I think that is pretty much as good as the game can handle it. And this would be my preferred way of seeing this done, unless we get something that's even better. But I have no idea what that could even be. Anyways, we started at the early version, went over to the good one for quite a while, and eventually things didn't work out anymore, and now we are at the broken version on the main branch. Meaning that if one of the outputs is full, the other one will still continue producing at the regular rate. So you're still only getting one lumber, even if you're not getting any beams anymore, and that means that basically half of every log is just thrown away and you're not getting the output for the stuff that you supply. Very bad version, and it gets even worse once you look at the iron ore mine, because that one, if it has supplies in here, it would take 2 lumber, 1 beam, and give you guys 5 iron ore as an output for that. However, if you also have a full output capacity like this one, once that just goes below capacity even by 1 item, it will immediately try to fill that back up, just like that. And we now consumed the lumber, we consumed the beams, and we've only gotten 1 out of the 5 items that this could have produced, and that means, yeah, we are wasting the majority of stuff here. So that's the broken version. That's how the game used to work for the longest time. And now we get to the beta branch. Well, I don't know if it was the longest time, but it definitely was for quite a while, likely multiple months before I noticed this and reported it. So what did they do on the beta branch? They went from the broken version back to the early version. So that was quite the issue with especially the logging camp, since that would only produce logs if both cordwood capacities weren't full, and also with other stuff it was far from ideal, but I still think compared to the broken version it was an overall upgrade. Not amazing, but at least still a little bit better than what we had before. Now 5 days later we get the next patch, and guess which version we are back to? The broken version. We went from early to good to broken, back to early, and now back to broken. And I have no idea if they ever gonna fix it, if they ever gonna bring back the good version. But this right now is a major pain to deal with, and I am not ready to do so. So unless they do something about this and make it better, I should really say that I feel the need to point out that it needs to be better, not worse. I don't see myself dealing with this because this is just not fun. So yeah, you went from good to early, back to broken, and what can I say? Good job, team. You did it. Please fix it. But yeah, that's the main issue with industries right now, and again, as long as it's like this, I don't see myself playing the game. Now let's go on to the rest of the patch notes. I can also show you guys on screen real quick. This is what it looks like. Just the list for the beta update today. So they fixed the fatal errors with certain interactions, which is good because that at least makes the entire thing playable again. Fixed an issue where the roundhouse would duplicate wood in the tenders of engines when entering. Haven't had that encounter, but I have actually placed down a roundhouse on my playthrough world, but I haven't really done much with it, so it may have happened, I just didn't notice, who knows. Fixed an issue where the logging camp was not auto-regenerating lost or cordwood. I mean, given what we know now about this, the stuff that I just explained, not the best fix, but yeah, I can see this being much better than what we had before. And fixed an issue where the industries would stop producing goods if a second output was at maximum. And yeah, I mean, what they fixed here now, I explained it, it's kind of making the thing worse overall. And they are now also saying that if one output is at max capacity and the other is not, the industry will create items at a 1 times output rate until at max capacity, again, wasting a lot of items. And with how they stated it here, it seems like that may just be their final fix, just having it broken again and leave it like that. Fix an issue with soft locking inside the buy menu. Haven't encountered that, but I have barely bought anything since I was in the on the beta branch here. Basically only got the engine and the weird rotary plow in the testing world here. Fixed an issue with Knuckles vanishing, also rotating out of pockets and all of that. Yeah, I've seen that kind of stuff. It's hilarious and looks very broken. I don't know if it really is fixed, because a few things that they talked about fixing in the first beta branch version this month, they just didn't really fix it, and the issue was right back when you started playing and did a few things. So yeah, so much about all of that. Fixed an issue where a water tank cars had no knuckles, haven't noticed it. Another water tank car could not be deleted, nice. Fixed an issue when track laying splines would happen at microdecimals. And yeah, that's the whole thing about a dot appearing and then there being a few fractions of a degree behind the dot. Yeah, I hope that's gone and not just them getting rid of the decimals behind the dot. Who knows? Fixed an issue that caused cars to recouple after being uncoupled, and yeah, that kind of thing. Even with link and pin on my playthrough world, I had an issue where I would pull both of the pins out of the connection between two cars and the cars were still attached. So hopefully that is also fixed. I couldn't replicate it anymore today, but I have only tried a few times, so who knows. Class 47 couldn't couple to anything before. Haven't tried out the engine past the top speed test. Fixed an issue with camera in driving mode, moved around when you drove into a curve. Haven't noticed that. Fixed an issue where the sand house didn't refill anymore. I mean, nobody needs sand in this game. We don't have any wheel slips, so I mean, sure. It's there if you need it for whatever reason. Maybe build yourself a sandcastle or something. Fixed an issue where clients got soft lock in the buy menu. I mean, that's already been mentioned before. Fixed an issue with a passenger car not being in the buy menu. I haven't even noticed that when scrolling through the thing. I usually look for new stuff in the buy menu and not for stuff not being there anymore. Also, coming on to April 1st, I think that's about half a year since the passenger car has been introduced into the game and it still doesn't have any functionality. Just wanted to mention that. But yeah, these seem to be all the issues that they claim they have fixed. And again, it was with track laying splines would lane in microdecimals. That already is something that they told us they would have fixed, and it still came up. So I guess I would need to play for a longer session in order to find out if it's really finally fixed. Again, right now with how things are going right now, I don't see myself doing much with this game. Again, I would like to, but I'm not gonna do it if it's just a constant work around all the different issues in this, and this still seems to be the case. So I'll be keeping an eye on this, maybe make another video if another significant patch comes out. But until then, I guess I'll just go and enjoy a few other games, because this one right now really isn't it. And I think I need to mention this. Century of Steam at this point cannot come fast enough, because I'm really getting tired of all the issues with this game all the time. Like, just them going back to the early version of how Industries worked with this update, because with the past patch was already kinda bad enough, but now re-implementing the broken version as a fix to the one that they used for a fix for the broken version. What the hell is going on here? Yeah, I'm definitely happier playing games that don't have anything like that happening, and that's what I'm gonna do for now. So again, it kinda sucks. I would like to continue playing on the world, but as it is, what can I do? Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you have a good one. Until next time, whatever that may be. Bye bye.